That's James' sandwiches this morning. 2 of them have kale, and 2 of them, the sides, 2 have the leaf red sales lettuce. And 2 of the buns are white sub buns, and 2 are multigrain baguette.
I kind of like those
That's
green
good.
baguettes.
So I'm going to talk about American Made, which got top of the stack against Your Honor Season 2, which is also awesome. It's just, I just found American Made was better, that's all.
It's very recent, is it?
Well, no.
Oh, it's...
Well, I don't know. I
Okay.
think it's a 2018 or something.
Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty recent, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Still
recent.
looking pretty young.
And honestly, the only thing that I could see maybe a slight problem with this is I can't really picture Tom Cruise as being a smarmy kind of guy. He does a good job in this, but honestly, I think he's probably a pretty nice person in real life. So it's a little bit tough for me to.
Who is it?
Everyone has their secrets or whatever.
Well, I mean, he's a Scientologist, which means he's
Sure.
not very smart.
Well, whatever. There's a lot of people that are.
Who would...
Beck's a Scientologist. You like him.
I like him, and he's actually smart. I don't know how they met. But, well, I think his family maybe was into Scientology. But, and then he kind of reconverted, maybe? I can tell you, it hasn't done much for his music by comparison with his early stuff.
Yeah.
But, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Who's that woman who was in Blue Lagoon when she was a girl?
Oh yeah, what's her name? Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields. I don't think Brooke Shields. I think terribly much of her. What was he saying about her postpartum depression? I can't remember, like made up or something like that.
Oh wow, that's pretty awful.
Oh, it's awful.
To say.
And he was like saying it on talk shows and garbage like that.
Wow.
So horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Don't go around saying stupid stuff like that. But I think that is one of the Scientology beliefs.
Well, I don't know. Why kick a person when they're already down? It's like.
Well, I guess he'd be figuring, they're not really down. They're just looking for attention or something like that.
Whatever.
It's awful stuff. I mean, hormones have a lot to do with movement.
Yeah.
And I gather that there's a huge change of hormones
Yeah.
coming down with the pregnancy.
Anyway, yeah, this is entertaining, and it's I think it says based on a true lie, so which is funny, right?
Well,
But
pretty well every movie's that way, but one way or another.
but I like the stuff at the end that they put the details, like about the Iran-Contra scandal and all this stuff, right? That they fill in a little bit at the end that you read off the screen. I like that when they do that in movies. It's often my favorite part of the movie is reading the stuff at the end, and thinking about what I've seen, and anyway. So yeah, I thought they did a great job, and it's all about. My favorite part is actually when he's going to be caught by for bringing cocaine into the country, into the United States in his plane, and they're like, land now, and he's like, okay, and so he lands like in the middle of suburbia, like he just lands on a street, and his plane ends up in someone's yard, and he just takes off, right? So he's not caught. He leaves the plane full of cocaine there, and takes his bag of money. But yeah, that was kind of funny. That was my favorite part of the movie. And I don't know. It's both of these are about drug culture issues in the United States, and this is back. I think it started 1979ish
Before
or something
Iran
like that.
Contra?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
It
that's about the
started-
same time.
It started in the late 70s and then went on
Mhm.
into the mid 80s. And this is talking about basically right now. This is New Orleans right now. And
Somewhere along the line, Americans have got to get some sense and legalize drugs. But
well, there's just so much money
well,
for
that's the
them
problem.
having it illegal, and that's the thing. Who's making the money off this stuff? You know, like there's a lot of powerful people, aggressive personality types in leadership positions that are making some serious coin off of this stuff, right? Being illegal. So, yep. I don't know. It's that's one problem with the land of the free, is to a certain extent the introvert personality types, the passive personality types are they're given a certain degree of freedom of movement and living without so much fear. You know, like it's kind of like the aggression is compartmentalized within societies, you know, to a certain extent. But then you have these shatterbelt areas like downtown, living here. You know, I
never
was,
thought about it, but it is like a shatter belt.
Yeah.
Shatter belts generally refer to large, kind of like almost like intercontinental areas. So yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, we live in one.
Yeah. And so, you know, if my window's open, I'll hear people, or see them. They'll be right outside my window. So basically, like there'll be a woman going through a bag of clothing, and we know what the bag of clothing, you know, we know that thing. She'll be like just outside my window, my bedroom window. And so, like on the ground floor, you know, she's basically in my bedroom. You know, the window's right there, and she's looking at me smoking over dried leaves. You know, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know, will she put her cigarette out when she's done with it, or just throw it in the dried leaves so that everything goes up in flames, you know? Or some guy will be walking by down the alley screaming, F you, F you, F, not F. Really, really loud. There's nobody else there. And you're like, okay, well, is he seeing somebody that's not there that he's screaming at? Or is he reliving an experience with somebody that he just had and he's screaming at them? Or is he screaming at everyone? So anybody who happens to be within the proximity, it's like, okay, you don't know, right? So anyway, it's interesting. And you see a lot of things. You see the police moving up slowly, and you know, okay, well, they're not coming for me. But you never know if, like, a couple times, like there was one time I remember very distinctly, James had left my door open to let the cool air in the morning, in the middle of the night, go through. And he was downstairs, and he left my door open.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that, but whatever. So I was in my bed with my little dog, and I saw there's fast flashlights, and I'm waking up. I'm tired. I'm hearing somebody yelling, and there's a flashlight I can see moving inside, and then I see there's a guy standing there, you know, and at the door, and I'm just a few feet away, and I'm holding my little dog, you know, I'm terrified, you know, I don't know what's going on, and I can't remember what he was saying. Is there anybody in here? Is there anybody in here? And finally James comes up, because he's been awake, right? I just woke up to this, and I don't know what's going on. And anyway, so it was a police officer, and they were looking for somebody in the neighborhood, and they figured he might have come in, and that's why the door was open or whatever.
I don't know what the law is. The law should be, doesn't matter if the door is open. You are not
But yeah,
to come in
it
without
was
a
scary.
search
I
warrant.
think there was a dog there too. I think there was a dog, and
You had a
that's
dog.
why I was scared my little dog might get eaten or something. I can't remember exactly because I was half asleep. But it
If
was
the cop
terrifying.
has hold of the dog, you don't have to fear.
Well, what if
If
my
you-
dog had let loose though? What if a tornado? What if I hadn't had the sense to hold on to him tight?
I think they'd be able to control the dog. It's
Well-
when they let him loose
Anyway,
that all, you know what, breaks loose. But at any rate, I came up from downstairs. I was trying to stay cool. So I wasn't in the briefest of briefs, but not much briefer than the briefest. I walk up, that's all I'm in. And I'm coming towards him, and he's got this police dog there, and he's packing heat on his hip.
you know, in hindsight, it's
And
funny.
he says, "Stop right there!" What? Like I'm gonna take him on? You know, I'm acting perfectly rationally, just walking really slowly.
But
What
you
an
know,
idiot.
maybe that's a tip for criminals, though. Just walk around in your briefs when you're in somebody else's house, and they'll just think you're supposed to be there or whatever.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, that guy didn't think that.
No, I guess
I think he thought I was
criminals have pulled that
the
already.
criminal that was lurked around the neighborhood. I just come in and strip down. Wow,
But yeah, I mean,
that cop, I really like to throw the book at
I
him.
didn't say a thing. I was just cowering there with my little dog, just holding him. And you know, I guess I should have said, I'm here, or whatever, but I was terrified and half asleep.
Like I had a little derringer, like just maybe in my butt. What an idiot. Oh, stupid. But, you know, like if there's some cops watching this, you know, that's you guys. You guys are stupid. But, you know, lots of people are strutting around. Oh, they're awful. They're evil. No, they're just stupid. There are some that are awful.
Anyway, so this stars Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, and I don't know if I ever would have picked this out had I not noticed that he was in this. It's not as interesting as Breaking Bad, but it's interesting enough, and it's something that people should probably enjoy watching if they enjoyed watching Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad. It's just a different side of things.
Your Honor. It looks like a horror movie.
No,
It's not. Okay,
no,
there we
it's
go.
a drug New Orleans politics thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
We were mentioning.
so that's what that's about.
What's wrong with this guy on the cover?
Well, he's just come out of prison and his son was killed. And so he was trying to starve himself to death in prison. But they
People have done that.
tube fed him. They wouldn't let him do that. So so he's not really much in the mood for living anyway. And the law is trying to use him to get to some other people, but he doesn't want anything to do with anything. You know, he was involved. He was a judge, and he had done some bad things to help some bad people, so that he could try to protect his son. And then his son ends up dead anyway. So he's thrown in the towel, you know. All these things are happening around him, but he's really not that affected anymore. He's kind of numb. So it's interesting to watch. Anyway, that's all I really had.
So, I don't have much to talk about right now.
Oh.
I will warn people that I will be dealing with Robert Pickton. I already
Yeah, you did.
led up to it. So, get ready. It's going to be like listening to CSI. And there will be playing. I'll also be fairly quickly, about half of it, 200 pages out of 400. Biography of Agatha Christie. And that one's going to be, I think, more interesting this. What she did after she published her most famous novel, I think even now, and it was like something like her fifth or sixth novel, early on in her career. She started a career about 1920, when she was maybe 23 years old or something like that. And within a very short order, like this, she put out maybe a novel a year, maybe a little bit more. She was just a huge sensation. So this would be about 1926 or 27. She married in haste. Really haste, because it was during World War I when she married. Somewhere around 1916. The guy, she'd been going with one guy. I mean, I think it was borderline engaged to be married. All of a sudden, she runs into this fantabulous looking guy. Even in today's terms, maybe more so, because he had like an upturned nose. Would be more likely to. Like Brad Pitt's kind of got a little bit of a baby face, you know, little nose.
Okay.
I know one woman who.
See, when you said upturned nose, I picked pig snout.
No,
That's what I pictured, and I'm like, oh yeah, today's
like
very handsome.
like a women's nose is generally preferred to have, you know, kind of like a little bit of upturn or something like that. Anyway, he had a nose like
Yeah,
that.
the downturned hook nose is generally not seen as attractive.
Not for women, and for men,
Yeah.
you know, like. Anyway, we won't get into the ethnicity. That's usually sensitive. But at any rate, they, for the first, was it? No, it was like 1914, right? He was one of the first guys to go fight the war. So 4 years, he worked his way up through, I think it was the Royal Air Force. He was with it before it even existed as the Royal Air Force and changed its name. Anyway, so 4 years they hadn't lived together. So that's interesting. So 1918, then they start living together. And they've been together for about 8 years. And she finds out that, well, he was doing more and more golfing. I think there was a lot of stuff involved in this golfing. What happens is, so he isn't spending much time. She finds out he's going on a golfing trip or something like that, and a woman's involved. I think a woman's involved a lot of the time. Yeah. So now she was supposed to have been good looking. Today's terms, no. Not even when she was young. You know, like packed around maybe more weight than women would like to nowadays, and stuff like that. Pretty big job. She had great hair and apparently great complexion and so on. So anyway, guys were just lining up. I think she had 8 proposals.
Oh wow.
But anyway, I don't think she was as good looking as him. So I'll show you a picture. There's a couple of pictures of him. One when he's in one of their old-fashioned swimming suits where the guys had skirts on. It's hilarious. But you can see, man, oh man, the guy was a freaking athlete. He really carried himself well. So I think even back then he was probably considered better looking. Well, 8 proposals. Now part of that was probably a little bit to do with money and so on. Anyway, 1926-27, somewhere around there, where she finds out about this golf trip. This woman who was considerably better looking. Today's standards, probably back then standards. And Agatha Christie, what she does is gets in a car, goes driving out in a lonely part of the country near where she lives, and she disappears. They find the car. It's on the edge of a quarry. I think it was would have gone into the quarry, except it got caught up in a hedge. And it would have been stunning, you know, like she would have ended up dead if she'd been in the car. And it had gone over the edge. So the woman writing this book, and I don't know how it ended up in my dad's library collection, and then at my brother's place. But I'm looking when it's published. I'm saying it seems so recent. I open it up. It's 2022. So it was like last year. Someone got hold of it, and somehow my dad wasn't the least bit interested in those kind of mysteries. He's interested in real life mysteries, not Agatha Christie.
Yeah,
mysteries.
he likes
just,
watching the police.
I don't know where it came from.
What do you call that? Bad boys. What do you
Yeah,
call
that sort of stuff. Cops or
Cops.
whatever.
He liked watching that.
He
And
did
Judge
watch those
Judy.
things. Well, he'd watch that. I drew the line with Judge Judy.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people like that, but so
Well, a
he
lot of
was
people
that
like a lot
kind
of-
of person
lot of
that liked
crazy
that.
Anyway, 48 Hours was his favorite. Oh, he just loved that. You're
Okay.
dealing with stupid criminals, ones that get run down in 48 hours. Really stupid. The ones that, they'll have interviewers. The best one I like, I think she's from Detroit. The other thing would be like Richardson, Texas, or whatever. One of the places just outside of Houston. But I think she was from Detroit. She was a black woman. Oh, she had these soft eyes and stuff like that. She looked kind of like a stereotypical black mother, a good one. So she'll get these guys in, they've nailed some idiot who's killed someone for $26, and they'll say, do the right thing. Oh, that's what do the right thing. It's kind of like she's patting them on the hands, stuff like that. You want to do the right thing, right? It's almost like, do it for mama, and they will, and she'll be saying, oh, it'll be okay, we'll do, and then they'll interview her in the hallway, right outside of the interview room. Well, he's going to get the electric chair, or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so it looks like you prefer the lettuce to the kale, because.
Oh, I'm going to eat the
Those are
kale
good.
at my place. It's not at leisure. You know what kale is like?
Yeah.
I take a little bit, and then I'll eat some cheese at the same time.
Oh,
I kind of buffers it, so
Okay.
that's why I'm saving.
I
But,
shouldn't give you that way.
At any rate, Agatha Christie ends up disappeared. So there are two main police people, kind of semi-local, looking for her. It's kind of on a boundary between two different jurisdictions. One guy has got hundreds of people out beating the bushes because he thinks she's been murdered, and of course her husband is the prime suspect.
Well, yeah, they would be.
They're not having a good time, and
Yep.
husband's banging someone else,
Sure.
or maybe he's just golfing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
What time? How much time?
You have 5-6
Okay,
minutes.
so I'll
7, 8.
do more.
Less.
You
don't want the tea then?
well, I'll drink it. I'll drink a little bit of it. It's been there
You don't
for a
have
long time.
to. I can
But
make-
anyway,
I can
yeah, I'm
make
not a
you
big
eat.
fan of tea or coffee, that sort of stuff. I'm not even a big fan of a Coke or whatever.
Do you want
I've-
some more coconut water?
No. Ooh, that was horrible. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't tell you it was coconut water.
I know.
'cause I wanted
What a
you to
shock.
actually drink it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, she. So one big police officer, he's beating the bushes. I mean, this is kind of about as bushy as Southern England can get. Another one is kind of going, well, like trying different things out. And so it's coming down more and more suspicion on the husband. She's disappeared. I think she was gone for 11 days. So pretty amazing. And her story, Agatha Christie's story, and it's the one that her biographer, this one particular biographer, really stands by, is that Agatha Christie was in an accident, like her car kind of came over a little bit of a rise and got caught up in this hedge. There was a huge drop-off apparently to the quarry after. But Agatha Christie said she lost her memory. Now that's interesting. If you just were out and about driving,
Well, she
how
might have
much
got a
money
knock
would you
on her head,
What was
so
that? Of
If
course.
she was in that
How much
accident.
money would you have on you? You're just doing an average drive.
Yeah, probably. Well, she might have. No, they didn't have bank cards back then. Not much.
How much money would I have? Way more than you.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be able to stay at a spa afterwards.
No.
She had the equivalent of thousands of dollars on her. Of
So
course,
she
it
was trying to get her husband arrested Or,
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Give him a real scare.
yeah.
Now understand.
Did you want this for dessert?
Yeah, that would be nice. I was thinking about that. Yeah, like she had thousands of dollars on her, and this woman can't explain it. The biographer doesn't even talk about it, really. The other possibility is that she was trying to commit suicide and ended up banging her head and lost her memory. That's interesting. Again, if you went to try and commit, like if you're just doing an average trip anywhere, you're not going to be lugging around a lot of money. If you're going to commit suicide, how much money do you need in the afterlife? Are you going to have a lot of money so the people who discover your body are going to have a little bit of a compensation for the displeasure of finding your body? I think not. You're not going to be lugging around thousands of dollars. What she wanted to do was go stay in a spa in comfort. The first thing that she does, she gets in the evening, I think. In the morning, she has breakfast in bed, and she gets a newspaper. And she's reading the newspapers religiously every morning. And then her chambermaid says that she stopped taking the newspapers when her husband called her bluff. Well, newspapers are interviewing him. And finally he said, I think she's just staged this. And it wasn't fun for her anymore. See how that works out? So she's living in a relative anonymity. Of course, pretty well anyone who knew anything, they're looking at the newspapers, they see the front page is splashed with her picture, and here she is. She's someone who's, they wouldn't know, and they're going, I think it's her. We can't say anything about it because she's a guest here. We could get fired. And it's the same sort of thing, and not just the regular chambermaids and stuff like that. It's the, the guy at the desk or whatever, the hotel manager who doesn't own it. He doesn't, like what happens if he blows the whistle on this rich guest and it's not Agatha Christie? He's not in trouble. He's out of a job. So anyway, this goes on for 11 days. When the cops finally bring her husband, Agatha Christie's husband, to the place, and they confront, she just, she recognizes it. You lose your memory, you wouldn't know. Oh, it's hilarious, They proceed to have breakfast or a meal together, all this sort of stuff, like nothing happened. Oh, it's hilarious. She set it up, and the big trouble is she should have paid a fortune for all the search parties that were laid out. Holy smokes. Yeah. Absolutely awful. I'm not going to say she was a skunk, but that was one skunky thing. And this stupid biographer, this is 2022. Come on. The key is the money. If you're committing suicide, I was saying just as you were going in, you don't lug around any money, much less thousands of dollars. And if you're just doing a regular trip around the countryside, and it wouldn't have been regular because she just found out that her husband was a cheating chimp. Anyway, she had a whack of coin on her. This stupid idiot, that wrote the biography loves the, there we go. Take care.